Hi folks, it's John from lastchanceautorestore.com. I'd like to share with you a brief update. This is the complete bed or box assembly for the 1950 Ford F47 pickup that we're working on. For American viewers, this is identical to the F1 half-ton pickup. So this is a short bed. It's all been assembled and we've done quite a bit of work on this, and I apologize for not sharing videos earlier. It's just been really noisy, and we've got 7 other guys full-time and 22 vehicles on the go. So unfortunately there wasn't a really good opportunity with bad weather and high winds and a lot of rain. We haven't really had an opportunity to kind of stop the whole shop to shoot a video. But it gives us an opportunity to now. So just to kind of bring you up to speed, so this cab assembly had quite a few dents and a lot of damage to it. And you can see along here, so basically if I start from scratch, we media blasted or sand blasted as much of the bed as we safely could. So a lot of the curved sections in the stronger areas we were able to sandblast, like our brackets going across. We did the underside and the way you see it now just on this dolly. But a lot of the other areas we weren't allowed to do the sandblasting because it was going to be too harsh to the raised panels, and there's a lot of stuff going on these panels, so we had to strip it by hand. So we used air tools and aggressive sandpaper, fairly aggressive sandpaper. So we got it all down to bare metal. And then we applied a black 2-part epoxy, which sealed all of the bare metal. And then from that point, we started using dent pullers and heat and hammer and dollies to get majority of the large dents, and it was incredible. It must have been a work truck earlier in its life, because there was an incredible amount of body damage to the side panels. There was innie and outie dents. All along the top rails were really bad. Even the rollover sections, the rounded sections. So now, after we had all the major dents pulled as close as we could, because we don't want to rely on body fillers or smoothers to fill in dents, we like to do it just for the smoothing. So after we did that, we applied 3 coats of this gray high build primer, and then we block sanded everything. So we started at 80 grit paper, and then once we sanded it down, we were able to see still some of the flaws. So that's where we started adding body smoother and blocking it all out again. So we've done that step several times, and then we went from 80 grit to 120 grit, and then another 3 coats of high build primer, and then we've been blocking it now at 180 grit. So quite a bit of work has taken place, but now it's starting to take shape. So essentially, if we, if I can catch up with the camera person, she keeps taking off on me. Let's start over here, honey, at the back. So this is our passenger rear post. So you can see along here, now some of the marks are factory pressed stamping. So you can see, I think the camera can pick it up. There's 4 almost like natural lines. So those are low spots or ribbed areas in this post. Because in the stamping process back in the day, this being a 1950, it had some guys call it stretch marks or production marks. We prefer, because this is going to be a nice clean truck, we're going to smooth this all out so it all looks all smooth like this bottom. So we've taken care of the dents. Here's where the tailgate hardware is going to be fastened or bolted to. So there's been quite a bit of work there because it was kinked in, so we were able to work that. Now as we come up the passenger side, so the passenger back, you can see these holes that are coming across. So that's signifying where the fender is going to be bolted. Now a lot of people would cheat. So if we start here and we come across and we follow these dots and come all the way down, that's where the fender goes. So most people would cheat and say, well, you don't really see this part, so let's just leave it. And they hide it with the fender. We want to make sure that everything's done correctly. So we still have quite a few high and low spots. I'm not sure if the camera can pick it up, but you can see there's some area here, and in this area, these are actually a little bit low areas because we've blocked it all out. This area and a little bit of surface rust from years ago, there's some damage to that. So after it's sandblasted epoxy, that stops the rust, but then we have some little, almost like pimple marks. So we want to make sure that we block all that out so it's nice and smooth. There is a tremendous amount of work that needs to be done along this top section. There was quite a bit of damage, and previous repairs were done poorly because along this seam here, or this edge, they had a bunch of different products and caulking and seam sealer. So we had to remove all of that to get this natural groove that comes all the way down and then curls in. So we got rid of all of their questionable product when we stripped it, and then starting over. So as we come here, once again, the fender's going to come along here, but we've got a couple of factory rivets, and you can see their low spots. There's some shaded areas here. So we're going to make sure that that gets all corrected, and then we have some flaws here. So this is all going to show at every different grit as we get to the smoother grits. The other part that's neglected, most people will just leave this back part because a lot of people will insist not much of this is going to be seen because it's fairly close to the cab. There's a gap in between. But we want to make sure, because you do see this where the factory rivets are, and the previous shop that tried to do the repairs on it, they had some of them covered with body filler and fiberglass resin, and then there is a bunch of caulking type product on the bottom part. It's just not acceptable. The paint would not stick to it, nor would it look correct. Along the back here, you can see where we've done quite a bit of blocking and smoothing. There's a lot of dents both in and out. This is coming along really well with the ribbed areas. And then these little spots here, these little circles, we like to leave these because those are the factory correct spot welds when the factory curled the inside and the outside of this rail for double walled strength. The first year for it, I think with Ford, was 49, so they're quite proud of this, having it double supported, so it's almost like a pipe that comes across. This is even stronger than what newer trucks do today, and they're notorious for leaving the channel here that you don't see open, and it becomes weak. So when you stand at the side of a newer pickup truck today, when you look down this rail, they're always pushed in towards the cab or scrubbing against the cab. But back, I believe 49 was the first year, they did this fully enclosed, so it's double the support. So we want to leave this because this is almost like a, I don't know if it's correct to say a bragging thing, but to have these factory spot welds, it signifies the solid portion of this bed. And then as we come up to the, or around to the other side, so this is now the driver's side, very similar to what we're discussing on the other side. We've got some low areas. There's some high spots which we've brought down, and there's some low sections that we're going to be working with. Excuse me, you can see as we come down, the rail's looking really quite nice, and in these sections here, so really authentic. Once again, we removed all the caulking. There's along here, and it's very close to factory original look right now. And if we come around to the back where the simulating the tailgate coming down, you can see on the inside where the little yellowish gold spots, that's a little bit of smoother that we had to use to smooth out those sections. So you'll notice on this side, pardon me, on the inside of the bed, we have all these holes, but all of this is finished painted. We're not going to be using any type of bed liner material or anything to hide this. We want this to be perfectly smooth and look like this truck has never been used or had things thrown in it. And the only thing that covers these holes is the head of the bolt. So we're going to end up using stainless steel hardware. So they'll be polished hardware. So we want to make sure that these are perfectly smooth and straight, because we're going to be painting both the complete inside and outside of the bed in that finished beige color. And then you can picture it, not only is this going to be all nice with the stainless hardware, we're going to have beautiful oak wood floor with high polished stainless strips and then high polished hardware. So this step is really, really important, and it's very time consuming. It is very challenging, but with the raised panels, it'll be very rewarding at the end. So we'll share with you some more updates as the build continues. So this is the 1950 Ford F47 pickup. I thank you for watching. I'm John from lastchanceautorestore.com.